Hi, Jane. Hi, Brian and Linda. Good to see you guys. Thanks for coming. Hi, Jennifer. All right. Jennifer's here. We can start. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the loving kindness class here at the Dharma Bum Temple. My name is Alex. I'm happy to be here with you tonight. Now, most people I know already, but anyone here for the first time? Oh, nice. How'd you hear about us?
Just found you guys on web search.
Oh, Google search. Nice.
I started coming into the Tuesday night recovery and also the beginners of Jeffrey. So I was getting scheduled.
Oh, nice. Thank you. Welcome. Good to have you all. And so this is a meditation on loving kindness we're going to do, and it's really important. Loving kindness is the first of the 4 heart practices in Buddhism, and is the foundation for all of the heart practices. And so that's what we're going to do tonight. Is just a very simple meditation on loving kindness, and something that was really interested, that's, I guess, kind of related to loving kindness. About 2, sometimes 3 times a year, I get the opportunity to tell the Buddha's enlightenment story to the kids over at San Diego State. If you don't know, there's like a co-ed fraternity over at San Diego State, a Buddhist fraternity, which is DBT, Delta Beta Ta, and they have like pledge classes and things like that, and so twice a year, like do it every semester. So twice a year, about I get to tell a new pledge class this story. I think I told here a few weeks ago, and so the last time I did it was this past Sunday. But this past Sunday I was in a terrible mood. I was just not in a good mood. It's not that I didn't want to go, but I just felt just kind of lazy and whatever. Um, so I just went anyway. And something happened where I would just got in a really good mood. And I think it's just because I got to tell the story, and there's such a great group of kids. Um, and a lot of the times these Buddhist stories that I tell, whether it's the enlightenment story of the Buddha, or the Jivaka, which I told last week, or Angulimala, which I've told before. A lot of these stories show the kind of redemptive power of the Dharma, and just telling that story to the kids just put me in this really great mood, and they were really great. I mean, I think one of the reasons why I really like to tell this story to the college kids is that, you know, when I was, 18, 19, 20, no way. Buddhism thing. It was like I just remember my mind state at that time, and it was so far removed from anything spiritual or anything, even anything new, you know, um, that seeing kids now at that age just kind of be very interested in not only Buddhism, but all of the qualities that we try to enhance, in Buddhism, our natural goodness and our positive and well-intentioned thoughts, words, and actions. Um, I think that in itself just puts me in a good mood. Just seeing those younger generations kind of embrace these types of qualities much earlier on in life than I ever would have. So I had a great time with them, and they asked a lot of really, really good questions. Um, so I just kind of wanted to share that. That was super, super duper fun. Um, so what we're going to do is we're going to have this meditation on loving kindness, and then maybe have a few questions afterwards. I'll ask you about your experience of meditation. Um, okay. I'm just looking to make sure everybody is set. No one needs anything. Hello to the people online. I hope you're doing well. Um, and let's get into it. I am going to guide this meditation for our newer people, so don't worry. I'll let you know what to do. Um, so at first, the first thing we're going to do is just spend a few moments just kind of getting connected to the breath, right? All right. Any questions before we start? Awesome. So just allow your eyes to close, making sure you have that nice and comfortable and sustainable seated position so you're not likely to move around too much. And when we sit like a Buddha. And you can even imagine yourselves as a Buddha sitting underneath your own tree of enlightenment, ready for the day's abiding. This meditation on loving kindness is said to be the sublime abiding. He says, by not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into this world. And so this is a promise that the Buddha is making to us, that if you do this meditation diligently, that can be you. So at first, let's just get connected to the breath. So let's just take a deep breath all the way in and all the way out. Not forcing it, letting the breath be quite easy and quite natural at first. And then you can experiment with what kind of breath is going to really bring you the most relief and comfort. And then just do that. Maybe focusing on your breath at the base of the nostrils, just feeling the air go in and out as you breathe. Nice and easy and gentle and no struggle. If you have a thought that arises, that's okay. You can just label it and say, thinking, and come back to the breath. Just that act of saying thinking will snap the mind back to the present moment, even if it's just for a second. So just for the next few moments, let's just rest very gently in the sensations of the breath. And so, to begin our formal practice of loving kindness, unconditional friendliness, and goodwill, let's first think of a benefactor we can do this practice for. And a benefactor is just anyone who has shown us great love or great kindness, someone that's easy to have these feelings for. You know, and almost anybody is appropriate: mother, father, brother, sister, best friend. Maybe not a romantic partner, but anyone else, fair game. They can be living, they can be not living. None of that matters. There's so much flexibility here. And just think of this person, remembering how their love and kindness really affected you in a positive way. Maybe it makes you smile. Smiling is really good during meditation, especially this one. And so, to do this practice of loving kindness for them, you can either just radiate loving kindness toward them mentally, and however you understand that word radiate. So, I like to think of it like a beam of loving kindness going from my heart to theirs. And this beam is pulsing and it's a kind of warm. Or you can just repeat phrases of loving kindness for them. Phrases like, may you be happy. May you be safe from inner and outer danger. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at peace and live at ease in this world. And you can just use one or more of those phrases, that's okay. So just for the next few moments, we'll do this meditation for our benefactor. Shifting our focus just a little bit from loving kindness for our benefactor to now, can we just imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us? We've already have the experience of their love and kindness towards us. That's why they're a benefactor. Can you just recall that feeling, imagining them doing this practice for us and letting all of that love and all of that kindness back into our heart. Just imagine them either radiating loving kindness to you or just repeating phrases of loving kindness for you. Maybe they're smiling at you. And just let it all in. Your only job here really is just to receive all of it. If you want to put your hand over your heart to help you a little bit, that's fine. So now we'll imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. And shifting our focus again to now, can we do this practice of loving kindness, unconditional friendliness, and goodwill for ourselves? And at first, just call to mind your own wish to be happy, your own wish to be free from harm and safe and secure, to be healthy, happy. And it's a wish that everyone wants for themselves. And it's perfectly okay to have this. So, can we now just imagine our hearts getting bigger and warmer, or just radiating loving kindness back to ourselves? Or if you want, you can just repeat these phrases of loving kindness for yourself. May I be happy. May I be safe from inner and outer danger. May I be well in body and mind. May I be at peace and at ease in this world. This is the most important part of the practice. So it's important to be very gentle with yourself when doing this. And smile. It always helps. Now, finally, we can explore the limitless potential of the heart, the potential for unlimited goodness, unlimited, unlimited love and compassion for all beings in all directions. That is our potential. So we'll do this practice for all beings in all directions. As it says in the Metta Sutta, whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short, or small, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Spreading upwards to the skies and downwards to the depths, outwards and unbounded. We do this practice for all beings in all directions. just open your eyes when you're ready. Let's just take the next moment or two out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs, keeping that mindfulness of loving kindness about you still. Hello, Donovan. Welcome. One of the things that I actually haven't done in a while, but is one of the first main teachings I was introduced to in Buddhism was the Satipatthana Sutra. It's more commonly known as the, the foundations of mindfulness, or the establishing of mindfulness. Um, and it's an incredible sutra, and it is supposed to be like the direct path to realization, you know. And it consists of a lot of different types of recollections, recollections of the body, of the mind. It's really fascinating, and probably one of the most interesting books I've read was um, uh, a book on this sutra, which was actually this monk's doctoral dissertation. So his doctoral dissertation was on this sutra, and they just turned it into a book, and it became a Buddhist classic pretty quickly. And he's one of my favorite monks to listen to, and I forget his name. Off the bat. Biko Analayo. That's the one. Biko Analayo. And he's actually really good to watch on YouTube. He has a couple of talks. I think he's a German monk. He's like super academic, like super smart, but there's such a heart to him. There's such a heart to what he says. I remember I listened to a talk he gave on respecting the different Buddhist traditions, which is really important. And so, it was wonderful to hear him say that. But getting back to the foundations of mindfulness, kind of one of the recollections, or a couple of them, was the focus on the body. How does the body feel? Because this physical body that we have, this is where all of our suffering resides. It's all here, in the mind, in the body. And so it's really important to get to really intimately get to know the body and all of the feelings that go on in the body, as a method to realization. And the Buddha was very clear. He said that you can become enlightened just by understanding sensations of the body, just by this body awareness. If you get to know it intimately, you know all of the ways that you suffer, and how the body feels when that happens. And so I was thinking a lot about that, like when we're doing loving kindness meditation, Because when you're doing loving kindness meditation, and it's really true for any meditation, not just loving kindness, but any meditation, how does your body feel when it's doing loving kindness meditation? When you're really into it, when you really have just kind of let go and you've really surrendered, and you're really just doing this practice, whether for yourself or for your benefactor or whomever it might be, how does your body feel? And can you tell the difference between how your body feels when you're in loving kindness than when you're out of loving kindness? What's that difference there? And it's kind of the same when, you're really focusing on the breath and your mind is not bothering you with all these random thoughts. How does the mind feel then? And when you have a thought that arises that is kind of taking up your headspace, how does it feel to know when you can go thinking, label the thought, and come back to the breath? How much better does that feel? Like, oh, I don't have to be trapped, or held prisoner by these stupid thoughts that are going on. What is that difference between focused on the present and not focused on anything else, and then, whatever thought that is? And so it's really important to understand how the body feels when it's happy, when it's not suffering with, whatever it suffers with. I was thinking a lot about that, and just trying. That's where I want to be, and I think that's where we all want to be. We want to feel. We want to be happy. We know how that feels, and it's important. I don't think we spend enough time understanding how that feels and understanding how to get there with this practice of loving kindness. And I've said it like 1,000 times, and I'll say it again, because I really believe wholeheartedly in this, is that for anyone who has ever had difficulty doing this practice of loving kindness for yourself, you're not alone. Everybody in this incredibly toxic culture has that problem. And if you did nothing but loving kindness for yourself for about 7 years, you'd be in a really good place. Don't worry about your enemies or even your benefactors for that matter. Loving kindness for yourself is incredibly important. And I love doing loving kindness for myself. That's mostly all I do. Just because, I'm filled with a great deal of self-hatred. It's just how I'm conditioned. So this is a really good antidote for that. So let me ask, any questions on the instructions at all? Hopefully they're relatively straightforward. Right, so I'm really always interested to understand what your experience of this loving kindness meditation was. Any part that was easy or difficult or whatever it might be, or whatever your experience was. It's just your experience. So, Yes, Jennifer.
I really liked that you mentioned that we should say thinking.
Mhm.
My monkey mind kept thinking of tomorrow, and I heard you say that, and I just immediately brought back my attention just every time I drifted off
Mhm.
thinking. And then smiling makes such a big difference.
What?
Smiling
Yeah.
makes a really big difference.
Smiling makes all the difference, I think, just for me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. The thing about smiling is that it's really hard to smile during meditation. And I certainly wouldn't have done it when I first started meditating. It would have been too hard. There's no way I could have done it. It took some time. It took some love for myself to do it, and it just took some experience. Like, oh yeah, this does feel better. This isn't such a chore to smile. Because when I first got into Buddhism, I was very, very serious about it. So serious. And I think that's kind of the mistake that a lot of newcomers make. They're so serious. And it's understandable why we're serious, because we're suffering so much. Why wouldn't you be serious about that? But the greatest thing you could bring to your spiritual practice is a lot of humor. Your sense of humor is monumentally important in this practice, or any really spiritual practice, just because you're just going to screw up a lot. You're going to do the wrong thing a lot and say the wrong thing a lot. You're going to think about, the motto of the Dharma Bum Temple is think good thoughts, speak good words, do good deeds. And I just cussed that guy out. Whether I actually did it or in my head, I have a lot of these arguments in my head. I cuss out people in my head like all the time. Not as much as before, but when I do it, at least now I go, oh yeah, that doesn't feel very good. In my body, that really doesn't feel good when I do that. But it's such a habit, you know. And so, because, in Buddhism, I've done and said and all these things that were not terribly skillful. But, you're not expected to be perfect. No one's expected to be perfect. No one's expecting perfection from you here. This is a hard practice. The practices are simple, but the execution is not so much. Because you're trying to overcome all of those years of conditioning. It's really hard. We live in this traumatizing culture. It's really difficult. And so we know that. So that's why it's so important to try, but just be gentle with yourself as much as humanly possible. That's the importance, I think, of Sangha. Travis, were you here for the last the Sangha social? No. I was curious about how many people were here. We should probably have more events like that, because we have lots of meditations and, classes for like the sobriety folks and etc., but not like a general, hey, let's all get together kind of thing. I think that would help a lot. We'll get there. We're just a small operation of volunteers doing our best. Anyone else? That's okay. You don't have to. I just like the meditation. I thank you guys for being here, and thank you for sharing in this practice with me. I really, really appreciate it. It was wonderful to see all of you again and the new people for the first time. We have a couple of announcements. Travis, did you want to do that or no?
Oh, I don't have to.
Okay.
Go get it.
No, that's all right. Don't worry about it. We'll get in here. Okay. So before we end, let's join our palms together at our hearts, please. Before we do that, Brian and Linda, I totally missed this. I am so sorry. And so Brian and Linda said, do you have any suggestions for loving phrases for deceased benefactors? May you feel happy seems awkward to me. Yeah, it's awkward to me too. Actually, no, it doesn't seem awkward to me. Actually, may you be happy is fine. I mean, I don't know where my deceased loved ones, I don't know where they are. I don't know. Wherever you are, whether it's in this body or the next, may you be happy. I've never been asked that question, guys, so I don't have a great answer right now. But I can tell you later. I can tell you next week. I could look into it, certainly. Because somebody must have said something, right? Yeah, let me think about that. That's a really good question. Okay, now we can do that. All right. And may the benefits of this meditation, this discussion, be received by all beings in all directions. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are, that you are. Thank you for coming. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening and rest of your weekend. We'll see you next time. Bye, guys.